to Market on Close. I'm Marley, Kayden here in Chicago alongside Sam Vadas at the New York Stock Exchange. We'll close out our show the same way we always do, with our thoughts on the session today and also closing out our week. This morning, we got the University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Survey, came in near the lowest levels ever recorded. The index posted a reading of 50.3 for the month, indicating a decline of about 6.2% on the month, about 30% down from a year ago. Concerns about the government shutdown topped consumers' fears, outweighing a boost in sentiment from the fresh record highs we've seen in stock markets. It is interesting to juxtapose this data against the earnings we've gotten, though, from companies like Airbnb and Expedia this week, indicating that the consumer is still resilient, is still spending, is still traveling, and feels confident to do so. Also want to talk about Tesla, this major headline for Tesla, that the shareholder meeting finally happened. Elon Musk got his $1 trillion pay package. It does have a significant amount of milestones to reach, but it was overwhelmingly passed with more than 75% approval. That meeting also had some very, very big headlines come out of it as well, with Musk teasing a potential chip deal with Intel, hinting that SpaceX could eventually go public, announcing production timelines for both the Cybercab and the Roadster 2. As well as commenting on when full self-driving could get full approval in China. It was a very busy shareholder meeting with lots to cover there. And Sam, how about you? What caught your eye today?
Well, Nvidia was extending losses today, but it just managed to pick up in the last final minutes and actually finished out in the green. Only just, but that came off a bit of a tough week, certainly for the stock. In the latest, CEO Jensen Huang saying that there are no active discussions on the Blackwell chip going to China, adding that currently they're not planning to ship anything to China. Now, this comes after the Nvidia CEO had told the Financial Times earlier this week, which caught a lot of attention, that China would win the AI race, before actually clarifying that, saying that he actually said that China has very good AI technology and they're moving very fast, and that the US has to continue to move incredibly fast as well in order to compete. So there had been also some speculation a couple of weeks ago that Presidents Trump and Xi would talk about the Blackwell chip at their meeting over in South Korea, but then we found out that that had been, quote, torpedoed by government officials. And now, in the latest as well, the information has been reporting that the White House will not allow Nvidia to sell its scaled-down versions of the chips to China. So we're talking about the Blackwell B30A, which, of course, China and Nvidia have been very good at sort of adapting to that market to try to get around some of those export controls. But sticking with the tech theme, shifting to the memory space, SanDisk was rallying today, and that came off the back of a beat on the earnings, the revenue, and also raising guidance. Now, this stock is up over 500% year to date amid that strong demand that we've seen from AI data centers, which need a lot of memory and storage. So these massive investments have led to tightened supply and higher prices for these memory chips. And just today, interestingly, to highlight, Chinese media was out reporting on how the world's biggest electronics wholesale market over in Shenzhen is seeing a dramatic increase in the prices of memory chips and other storage products, which could drive up the cost of consumer electronics goods. So that's something to keep in mind moving forward. But heading into next week, Marley, what will you be looking out for?
We've got another big week of earnings, Sam. Two of the names that stand out, Applied Materials and Cisco. Applied Materials will report Thursday after the market closes. Analysts expecting EPS of $2.11 on revenue of $6.7 billion. Now, both of those numbers would mark year-over-year declines. Analysts are bullish going into the report, though, with more than 60 of them maintaining a buy rating. For Cisco, its stock's trading at a pretty elevated multiple, so investors likely looking for better than expected growth in 2026 and strong results from its networking segment. For the first quarter, they want revenue of $14.78 billion on earnings of 98 cents. How about you, Sam?
Well, it's actually a big week for those Chinese ADRs, as I mentioned a little bit earlier. So we're going to be getting report cards from some of the favorites, including Tencent, Alibaba, Meituan, JD.com, Li Auto, and Bilibili. And of course, this is important because it will give us a sense of, where the Chinese economy is at, but also where China is up to in some of its AI ambitions, because some of these companies like Alibaba have really been at the forefront of some of the self-sufficiency drive that we've seen. We've got Fed speak as well. Anna Paulson from Philly Fed, Raphael Bostic from the Atlanta Fed, Susan Collins from the Boston Fed too. And just remember, of course, it's Veterans Day. We'll be here, Marley, of course, as always, but the bond market, of course, will be closed. So we'll be keeping an eye on that.
Yes, we will be here. But right now, it's going to do it for Market on Close. We're going to start our weekend. We hope you all do too.